along, there is a link of the tier list in the description. Maybe before we begin, one sound check. You can all hear me well over the music and you can still hear the music. Let me know in the chat how well you can understand me, and then we can start. Should be better, right? Yes, very nice. Okay, so if at any point the music is too loud, let me know. I suppose I'm understandable in the with my loudness. Right, so there's a link in the description if you want to play along. I put the tier list there. I would say we start with a top 50, and depending on how you're feeling, we could add more cards. I'm ready also to build a top 100 card drawers in EDH if you want to do that with me. But if we see that we took too much time with the top 50, maybe we'll do a cut. We'll see how far we get. I got the list of cards from Scryfall. I just put in draw and card in here and sorted it by EDH rank, and you can see all of the card drawers here that people like to play. The question that inspired me to do this video was, are they all good enough to be put in EDH decks still, or are people playing it for whatever reason they shouldn't? And yeah, let's build a little tier list and see where we would put them and where they are in EDH. And if we do a top 50, we do a top 50. If we do a top 100, we can do that as well. So I will switch back and forth to look at the certain cards and decide how good they are. So you can also read along if you don't know a certain card, and maybe there are some cards that maybe many people play, but maybe you don't know. For example, Idol of Oblivion is quite a specific card, and yeah, then we can decide. So without further ado, I put the 50 cards here, and we'll just start out with any one of them that just tingles my with that. There it is, Ristic Study. So Ristic Study is the 4th top card here. It is quite strong, I agree, and I think it is also actually ban-worthy. I don't want to go into too deep discussions. If you have some opinions, you can let me know in chat. But the thing is, I think that Ristic Study is quite a strong card. Every blue deck wants to play it if you play blue. And yeah, I mean, there is a reason why it's banned in Pauper as well. So yeah, I would put it into the super staple card because it's just super strong. Where did I slide it now? Ah, down there. And maybe I will change my mind at some point and switch them around. If you have different arguments, let me know also. But for me, this is a obvious super staple card. Also, I think a very familiar and relative to the Ristic Study is the Mystic Remora, which also lets you draw cards whenever your opponent plays a non-creature spell. So, and they have to pay 4, and no one, let's be honest, no one will pay 4 if you don't have infinite mana. It just costs 1. It's a little fairer because at some point you probably have to sacrifice it because it has a cumulative upkeep cost, but I still think it's very strong. And I also think that every blue deck wants to play it, usually, and as it works, I think this card should go into the S tier, in my opinion. Now, What else? What else do we have? Sensei's Divining Top. Let's continue here. Sensei's Divining Top. There it is. So it's about like, let's see, like top 12, 15, not even in the top 20. I think it's a strong card, but as a card drawer, only if you have like an infinite combo. Other than that, it's not the best card draw, right? Like, you use it to sculpt your deck if you have fetch lands in there. You can use it to sculpt your deck a little. But if you don't have infinite mana and the ability to just play it from the top of your library with like, what was it, Mystic Forge, I think? And there might be some others. I don't think it's the best card draw card. It is strong, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't put it in S tier. Like, not every deck wants to play it. Would I put it into the attractive category or like a basic category? It's not clunky. I think I feel better here, but you can also let me know how you feel about it. It is quite strong, but I don't think every deck wants to play it. It is good, but also as a card drawer, I think it's not the best card. Let's head to the next one. Maybe we should go with this list here and we'll see where the card is, or however I feel. But like, let's go with Mindstone. This is a card that many decks play. And the thing is that I don't think it's the best card drawer in the sense. Like, it's a great mana rock, but the thing is that you don't want to use it as a card draw, only if you have like too much mana. And to use it as a card drawer, I think you would have to have recursion. The reason why it's up there is for it being a mana rock. So as a card drawer in the sense of just drawing cards, I think it's either C or D. D being the very specific category of like you need it in a very specific deck, or just it's just trash, simply something with D, dog water, I found. It's great as a mana rock, but not as a card drawer, you know? As a card drawer it goes down there. I have a whole video about mana rocks and it's further up, but as a card drawer I don't think so. I don't think it should be included for that. Commander Sphere similarly. You pay 3 to get a mana rock and then you sack it to draw 1 card. So that's also not what you want to have. So again, as a card drawer, not the best card. By far not the best card. As a mana rock, okay. Still it costs 3. It has the ability to be sacked, and with recursion it's okay. In Pauper it's great, but other than that I don't think it's the best card to be included for drawing cards. Let's go with Solemn Simulacrum next. So this card I played for years and I think today is kind of outclassed. Like, it does 2 things. If you copy it, it's great. It enters the battlefield, fetches your land, and when it dies you draw a card. But I think today you play so many other cards and you don't want to have your turn 4 drop to beat this today. Like, for turn 4 you want a Smothering Hive, even though it's like not a card draw card, but it ramps you, you know, like. It does 2 things, they're great. If you have a specific deck that copies it or allows you to recur it, it's good. Still not the best though. I'd say it's a clunky card. Like, it does 2 things and it does them well. And you have a blocker and you can draw a card, you know, like it does things. But other than that, I think today there are better cards to be included in decks. I don't play it in my Traps deck, for example, which is red and black. So it's not an auto-include. No longer. We already had Heuristic Study Skullclap. That's a weird artwork. Skull Clamp, this artwork I have, is very powerful. It just costs 1, so you just drop it turn 1. You equip it for 1 and then you draw 2 cards if you have like a creature that dies or is a 1/1 because it gives +1, -1. It is very strong. And normally every deck has like 1/1s. You wouldn't auto-include it everywhere. Like, I don't know, if you have like a red-black traps deck, you wouldn't include it there, like, because you're not playing like a weenie deck. But in all these decks that play a whole bunch of tokens, you want to include that normally. So I find it very attractive. The question is it too specific to be an attractive card? Or and I want to go down one category to basic, or do I want to keep it at A level? I think I want to keep it there for now. And if anyone has anything to object, let me know in the comments. For those who came later, if someone came later, you can also check everything that we did up until now and let me know if you're wondering why a certain card is where it is currently. Smothering Tithe is not in here, it doesn't draw you cards, it says whenever your opponent draws cards, so we kept it out. But Arcane Denial count, play like commons, but also what I find really interesting is that you can counter your own spells to draw 3 cards then. So keep that in mind, that this is also an option. If you're like desperate, you can draw up to 3 cards for a like whatever spell, like a brainstorm or whatever. But it also counters anything. So normally a classic counter spell is for 2 blue, you counter a spell, but no one draws cards, and in this case you pay 2, not even 2 blue, and you draw 1 card and your opponent draws 2. You can play it politically. I really, really like this card. Like, I would also include it into every blue deck that can play it, because it's so good and you have so many options to work with it. It is obviously not as strong as Heuristic Study, which just simply always draws you cards. But I would just include it into any blue deck. The question though is, would you play it as a card drawer? You know, like we don't have like goat of politics or goat of counter spells, so maybe we put it one category down. It is, I really like this card. I would include it into any deck. So somewhere maybe I will put it up again, but also let me know if. And what some people forget sometimes is that you don't have to choose any of the cards that you just drew. I play this in my classic Dan deck, and you can manipulate the top of the library with 2 cards you don't need from your whole hand, not only the 3 cards that you drew, and then maybe you play a fetch land and shuffle your library and put the cards back into the deck and they're just gone for now, you know? So I find it really great, though it does not give you more cards than you had before. So you pay 1, you get 1 card down, then you draw 3, and then you put 2 back. So you don't get more cards from it. So that's something you always also have to keep in mind. Therefore, as a card drawer, I don't think it's the best. Like, if you have certain enchantments that allow you to draw more cards whenever you draw cards, sure. But if you don't have those, I think it's not the best one to include. I would put it as a basic card drawer. Like, if we don't put in Sensei's Divining Top because it's not really a card drawer card, Brainstorm draws more cards than Sensei's Divining Top, so like it's made to like fix your hand. Yeah, I think I feel good that way. What else do we have? Esper Sentinel. Esper Sentinel is like a CDH staple, right? Like, it's a great white card drawer, and back in the day, like, drawing cards with white was quite hard to do at all. And being able to just turn 1, drop that, and everyone who plays non-creature spells has to pay at least 1 if you have something to pump him up, it becomes a better Mystic Remora at some point. So, and it can block. You can copy it with creature copiers. I really like this one. Like it's a solid white card. Every white deck should include it, and it's there to draw cards. You know, like, obviously, it's S tier. What is next? Faithless Looting. Faithless Looting. Similarly to Brainstorm, it's not the best card. You lose a card by casting this, then you draw 2 and discard 2. So you go 1 card down. The flashback then gives you the card kinda back because you don't lose another card. You cast it from the graveyard, draw 2, discard 2. So yeah, you go in total you go down 1 card. It fixes your hand. You could have like a discard enabler, but I wouldn't count it towards like real card draw, you know? It's rather, yeah, discard enabler cards, hand fixing, yeah. So B or C actually for me. It only costs 1, but you lose cards. So if you don't play a very specific deck of like, I want to discard my cards or reanimate stuff, I don't think it's the best now, is it? Let me know. Let me know. The One Ring. Ooh. This one had many bans. Where is it legal? Oh, only banned in Modern. Okay. Okay. So, but it is a game changer for now. Okay. One Ring. I must say I've never played this card before. Like, I didn't like the idea of having like Universes Beyond cards in normal decks. So I don't want to have Lord of the Rings cards in my, I don't know, you name it, whatever deck. It is colorless, so you can play it anywhere. It's indestructible. It gives you protection from everything until your next turn. You lose life per counter that is on the ring, and then you can tap it, put a counter on it, and draw a card for each counter. With Proliferate, it's great. Being able to untap it again in a turn draws you even more cards, so it is powerful. And I understand why it's banned in Modern. You can put it anywhere. Like, it's probably a solid card, right? Like, ignoring that it is a Universes Beyond card, I think it's a powerful card. At least A tier. You lose some life for it, but like, Phyrexian Arena does the same, right? And you draw 2 next turn, even if you don't have Proliferate or stuff to untap. Draw 2 next turn, you lose the 2 life at the beginning of your next turn, you know, like, and Phyrexian Arena, if it draws you 2 cards throughout 2 turns, you lose 2 life, so it's a better Phyrexian Arena. Gives you protection, indestructible, you know, like, it's great, it's a great card. Still, I don't like it. Don't like it in classic MTG decks. Well, what is next? Let's see. Oh, Phyrexian Arena! Okay. I think it's still good. Similarly to the Solemn Simulacrum, though, I think it is outclassed today by several cards. I don't know how you feel about it. Like, you have to pay 2 black, and then next turn you draw 1 card and get punished by 1 life. I think it's quite slow. Like, for 3 mana, you look, for example, Deadly Dispute, you can pay 2 and draw 2 cards. You know, like, here, 2 cards. And you get a treasure, you know? I think Phyrexian Arena, for the current state of Commander, became too slow. Similarly to the Solemn Simulacrum that we discussed earlier in the video. So, in my opinion, Phyrexian Arena is clunky. Where is it? Phyrexian Arena. There it is. There. I think it's a clunky card. It's good over turns. If you play it turn 3, it's good. but slow and not the best card. It's probably better than Faithless Looting, which just doesn't let you draw cards really, just fixes your hand. So that's where I would put it for now. What is next? Garruk's Uprising. So this card I also don't really play since I don't play like big stompy decks, but when this enters, if you have a bigger creature like power 4 or greater, you draw a card, and they give it the enchantment gives all the creatures trample that you have, and whenever another big creature enters, you draw another card. If you play a big Timmy deck, sure, like if you play a whole bunch of big cards, you want to include that. It also gives trample, so everything that matters for power, sure, why not also have trample? 3 mana, and if you play it in that certain kind of deck, you probably already have a power 4 or greater creature, so you pay 3 to draw a card, give trample, and then later on draw more cards. I think it's similar to Phyrex in Arena, though better probably, since you would include it in decks that can like cheat out more bigger creatures and also is able to reduce the cost of creatures. You know, you want to play a whole bunch of creatures. Yeah, so yeah, maybe cards like Galta wants to play that, right? In Galta decks, in Gesaf. Is that how you? Nope, that's not how you write it. Oh, what's the Dino Commander? What's the name? Type Dinosaur. And colors are red, green, and white, and legendary. How do you write that name? Gesaf. That one. No, not that one. This one. Right, you put them onto the battlefield. Yeah, so in big creatures decks you want to put it in. And this one cheats them out. And then you draw a whole bunch of cards. So yeah, my opinion about Garruk's Uprising, I think, would be B tier. It's a solid card drawer, better than those two, so top of B tier. I wouldn't put it at attractive, like very attractive. Maybe I will change my mind. I think these are just simply better in so many ways, but maybe just because I'm not the biggest fan of like stompy decks. Just because I find them just so simple. Windfall. Ooh. It's a great card. So everyone discards their hand, and then every player draws a card for the most cards that have been discarded this way. So if someone has 7 cards and the rest just has 1 card, you draw and everyone else draws 7 cards. And I like it politically. You can ask the table if you want a reset. But also, if you're the one that only has 1 card and there is one that has 7, why not reset? If you're scared of your opponent drawing too many cards, sure, but then just to play the Windfall. But if you're behind, you can also reset their hand. You can also screw their hand if you're like played very early and you have reanimate strategies. It can go so many ways, and I think Windfall, like it is played, as you can see. It's like the top, let's see, 15 card. But I think it should be played more in more decks. I think it's too good not to be played. I would put it into the attractive tier. I really like it that it is so versatile in the way that you can play it. Really like that. Next up, Frantic Search. Again, another card similarly to the Faithless Looting that we have had earlier, though it costs 3, and you lose this card, and you also you draw 2 and discard 2. So you lose 1 card in your hand. But then you untap 3 lands, so you can continue your game plan, and you would put it into reanimate decks again, similarly to the Faithless Looting. And it's also good with lands that produce more than just 1 mana. So if you can untap a Chaos Cradle, for example, that would be amazing. But also like just like the dual lands, like Simic Growth Chamber, I think are cards that you want to include in such decks that tap for 2, and then you play the, what was it called, Frantic Surge, and you untap 3 lands, but you get 4 mana back, for example. So it's good. Just for drawing cards, that's not the best thing. So you get a little deeper into your deck. I think it's quite specific where you want to play it, usually, normally. So it's not the best card to be played for just drawing cards. The fact that it untaps lands makes it, in my eyes, better than the Faithless Looting, in my opinion. You can activate Faithless Looting twice, so you get deeper into your deck. But I think the untapping mana ability overweighs. Let me know if you think differently. It enters untapped, which is always on the better side if lands are entering untapped. Then you have to pay 3 and life equal to the amount of your commander's colors. If you have partners, obviously you also have to pay both of those colors if they have like 2 colors or whatever in total. Then you draw a card. And it is slow because you also have to tap this one, so in total you tap like 4 mana. But if you're behind, you can just simply draw a card. If you have a control deck and no one played anything, you can tap this at the end of the turn, and just before your turn you draw another card, you know, like it is useful and versatile. Obviously I wouldn't include it in, let's say, 4 or 5 card decks, because it also loses you quite a bunch of life. I think I would put it into specific 3-colored decks, maybe decks that want to lose life as well, like Marchesa the Black Rose. Because she doesn't want to be the one who has the most life points, you know? This is where I would put those lands if this land if I had 3 colors. Rather in 2 and mostly in 1 or 0 colored decks. So that makes it quite specific. It makes it good, but quite specific. Therefore, I would put it into the B category. It's not the best lands that can draw you cards, but it's also not the worst. So just right in the middle. Right in the middle. It draws cards. Compared to the others, I think it's even better than a Brainstorm only. Like, again, it depends on the deck that you're playing, but this is how I feel about it. Next up, Ponder. So Ponder simply replaces itself, but you can also kind of scry and have the ability to shuffle. There is a reason why this card is good and even worth a buck. It's banned in Modern. So how good is it in EDH? Like, you have 100 cards, you look 3 cards deep. If you don't have a deck that allows you to shuffle a lot, I don't know. I mean, it lets you shuffle by itself, obviously. But maybe you need like 2 of the top 3 cards, or like 1 of the top 3 cards. What about the rest, you know? And it just draws you 1 card. I don't think it's an auto-include in any decks, like in all decks. Maybe in like Storm decks, or yeah, like decks that want to like cast a lot, like Prowess decks. There would be good. I think that should be the Ponder. So similarly to the Brainstorm, it just replaces itself. Yeah. Very similar. I think Brainstorm might be a little bit, let's say, worse, since you can shuffle here. Somewhere around here, I'd say. Next up, Return of the Wild Speaker. So I think every deck that wants to play this probably should play it. Green most of the time has like a big creature in their deck. Only if you have a very specific category that doesn't really want to draw cards because of the biggest creature, then you wouldn't play it. You know, like if you have like a land strategy, I don't know if you would play Return of the Wild Speaker. I don't play it in my lands deck, for example, my Lance Trebuchet deck. But I play it in my Eudora Forest Reanimation deck because my commander already is a 5/5. So for 5 I could just draw 5 cards. And my wife, for example, likes to play this deck also because of the kind of overrun effect. It doesn't give trample, though it's at instant speed and you can just surprise an opponent by just killing them. And you don't have to play it as a card draw. So I find this very good, attractive, I'd say. The thing that kind of makes me think twice is the cost of 5. If it was like 3, of course that would be way too strong, but 5 is quite expensive. But I mean, Commander is mostly a casual game, so I feel good putting it at the bottom of for attractive in the A tier category. It's certainly better than a Garruk's Uprising, I think. So I feel good. I feel good with this one. I think that's good. Deadly Dispute. I already teased this card before, compared it with Phyrexian Arena. So you have to sacrifice an artifact or creature to even play the spell. It's instant speed. Maybe you have some sacrifice shenanigans in your deck. And then you draw 2 cards and you create a treasure, which you can also sacrifice for another Deadly Dispute kind of effect. And there are several. So I like this one. Since it's cheap, it's at instant speed, and you probably, if you play it, you have some sacrifice cards you want to sacrifice, and then you get even 1 mana back and draw 2 cards. It gives you 1 card plus by replacing itself, so I like it. Like, this is a solid card draw card. I think it's an attractive card. Like, similarly to the Arcane Denial, like, it's solid card. Black Market Connections. So this one was up to like $30 before it was reprinted. Like, this one should be like 10 or so. Yeah, had many reprints. But back then it was only in the Commander Legends Baldur's Gate deck and was up to like $30. It's strong. It's powerful. It's a better Phyrexian Arena if you compare them, because they have so many options, and one of the options is drawing a card and losing 2 life. So you lose 1 more life, but you get this normally in the same turn. So you cast Black Market Connections, and then you go to your... Oh no, that's a lie. That is a lie. Ah, obviously you played in your pre-combat. I thought it was post-combat. Okay, so you cannot use it in your first turn that you play it. Well, that's a little sad. Okay. So next turn, when you go into your main step, you're allowed to choose to lose up to 6 life to get a treasure token for 1 life, a card for 2 life, and or any creature type shapeshifter 3/2 token, and you lose 3 life. And I think it can go into so many strategies. Like, you can have a typal deck, a kindred today, say, that likes to play a specific type, and you have this shapeshifter token, which just also gets, I don't know, boosted, or you get more card draw or whatever from it. You're able to draw cards, and you're able to also create treasure tokens that you can sacrifice for whatever, like a Deadly Dispute, for example. So you ramp ahead as well. I think I like this one much better than the Phyrexian Arena, because you're starting out with 40 life, and it's very versatile. You don't have to... Do you have to choose one? You have to choose at least one. Okay. I think it's a B tier. It's not the strongest since you don't get it right away, in my opinion. But it has many options, and therefore it's better than a Phyrexian Arena. Next up, Beast Whisperer. That's quite a staple, obviously. It's like we're like in the top a little further than 20 now. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card. I mean, you're playing green, you're probably also playing creatures, so for 4 mana drawing cards from then on, it's like a solid solid inclusion in my opinion. Like similarly to, let's see, like any of the enchantresses. Interesting. Like there are not many, like that many enchantress decks that they are in the top 50. Let's see what the first enchantresses are. Maybe I'm also skipping some, I don't know. Here, Idol of Blossoms. For each enchantment that enters, you draw a card, for example. Or Enchantress's Presence. Whenever you cast one, you draw a card. So I think it's a good card. The stats are okay. Would I put it in A tier though? I don't think so, since it costs 4 and then you have to continue casting to get more cards out. But I think it might be better than the Guards Uprising. I don't know. Like that's how I feel currently. Maybe I will change my mind later on. Let's continue. Sensei's Divining Top we already had. And then we have the Sylvan Library. Sylvan Library, okay. So this one had quite a reprint range and like many different kinds of iterations how you use it. At some point you paid 0 to use it, and then at some point they said, yeah, this is how it works. So at the beginning of the draw step you draw 3 cards in total, and then you choose out of those 3 which ones you want to keep. And then you put up to 2 back. If you keep more than 1, you lose 4 life for each card that you don't put back. It's very strong. It is a strong card. If you are able to pair it with Abundance, you are able to actually skip the losing life ability, the losing life clause, and you're able to filter through your deck a little. So that's even better. It's a nice combo that not many people know about, but that's not the focus. The focus is how good is it as a card draw. I think each green deck that you build actually wants to have the Sylvan Library. If you have a Sylvan Library, you want to put it in, right? It's like so playable, and you have 40 life. So usually how I play this is like go deep into the deck, play as many cards as I can, and lose up to like 20 life in like a couple of turns, like 2.5 turns. To go deep into the deck to see what I get, maybe even shuffle my deck and leave some up, and then go down to like 20 life, and like I drew 5 more cards than everyone else. And I looked deeper into my deck, like I can filter out stuff that I don't need, shuffle my deck in between. Yeah, it's a great card. It's very attractive. Is it a super staple? Oh, I think so. I think it's better than the cards in the attractive category. Yeah. I think so. I think like every green deck wants this. Like there is no exception that you say like, I wouldn't put it into a creature deck. No, you would filter out your creatures that you need, right? Enchantress decks want to play them. So yeah, put it in there. Put it in there. Let's see next. Preordain. Another one of these cards similar to the Ponder and Brainstorms that you play like in Storm decks. You scry 2 and then you draw a card. So it replaces itself, but before that you look at the top 2 cards, which is okay. So if you don't need them, you go 2 cards lower. You put them on the bottom of the library, and then you draw the 3rd card. It's good to filter. It's not the best card draw card, so I wouldn't count it like as a real card draw. So let's put it where the others are. Is it better than Brainstorm? Probably. I like the ability that Brainstorm can also put cards from your hand back on top of the library. I think Brainstorm is a little cooler. Okay. If anyone has any objections in chat, let me know. Let me know what you think. Next up we have Thrill of Possibility. So this is similar to the Faithless Looting, though you only lose this card and one more card to draw 2 cards. What I don't like about this is that it's additional costs. So if the spell gets countered, you actually already discarded the card and you don't get to draw 2 cards. So then you lost 2 cards. Normally no one plays a counterspell on a Thrill of Possibility, but that's also a thing. It's good in a Calamax deck, since you then actually get 2 more cards from losing this card and discarding a card, because you copy it and then you just draw 2 cards, you don't have to pay the additional costs. But that's quite specific. So normally, in a normal deck, you just go a little deeper into your deck, but you don't get any more cards out. It is maybe, since it's quite cheap, better than these 3. I wouldn't put it as a basic card drawer, I think. Because many of these already allow you to draw more cards throughout the game. I actually like the what was it, Black Market Connections a little higher, maybe here. Since you can draw multiple cards with these less so. But these also have a specific deck strategy that you probably want to put them in. Maybe I'll put Thrill of Possibility 1 up. We'll see. Village Rites. So this one I like, because you only lose a creature. And normally you have tokens that you can just sacrifice, or creatures that you don't need anymore. Therefore, I think normally you just lose 1 card and draw 2 at instant speed for 1 mana. And this is quite powerful. So similar to the Deadly Dispute, I think it's even better than that one. I would put it at the attractive A tier. This one can go down a little, I think. Yeah, I think that's good for now. I'll see if I change it up by the end or in between. We'll see. We shall see. Okay. Next up, Growth Spiral. For 2, you draw a card and you may play a land from your hand. Let me think about it for a second. I'll get some water. Thing is, you lose a card by casting Growth Spiral, then you draw a new card and you're allowed to play a land. As a ramp card, it's good. You hope to still have a land. If you draw it, it's allowed to play another one. Where would I put Growth Spiral? I think similarly, like, it only costs 2. I think it's instant speed, right? I played in my Calamax Instant Tribal, yeah. I think it's a basic card drawer. Like, it doesn't give you more cards, but it's also not the worst, because it allows you to ramp. But simply as a card drawer, it's not the best also. Yeah, that's how I feel about it, I think. Rishkar's Expertise. This one can also draw quite a bunch of cards. So you draw cards again, equal to the biggest creature that you have, and then you may even cast something for free. It's sorcery speed and it costs 6. It is quite clunky, though would I put it into the clunky category since it allows you to draw that many cards. It costs 6. And it's at sorcery speed. I think that's why it is clunky. Like, you can also get something really nice out of it, sure. But 6 mana, like the Garruk's with the Carrick's Wild Speaker. The Return of the Wild Speaker is instant speed, so you can even play it in response to a board wipe, and it can kill players. This one you hope to have something good in your hand, and you even have to pay 6, and it's at sorcery speed. So someone can even interact at instant speed and be like, no, I'm gonna remove your big creature and you draw less. I don't like it that much. Just because it costs another more mana and it's not as strong, in my opinion, as the Return of the Wild Speaker. Yeah. Though it allows you to probably most of the time draw more cards than any of these will do, so yeah. I think Solemn is a little bit better since it also ramps and draws your cards, so it's better than the Faithless. And I think the Phyrexian Arena is a little bit better than the not the Faithless, the Thrill of Possibility. I think the Phyrexian Arena is better in the sense, again, that if you have it early on board, that you can also draw multiple cards throughout the game if it's not dealt with. Sign in Blood. Sign in Blood is a staple. It's only sorcery speed, but it only costs 2, and it can actually kill players if you want to have your opponent draw the 2 cards and lose 2 life. But normally you play it on yourself. I think it's a solid card. Just because it's cheap. You see a certain pattern here. If the spell is cheap, they go up here. If they draw more cards than you use, they go up here. Here are some cheap ones, but they only replace themselves. And then there are some more expensive ones where you have to go through more hoops to actually draw more cards, you know? Yeah. I don't know about the order here. I'll see a little bit later. Opt. Oof. Opt is not the best. Scry 1, draw 1. Similar to a Preordain, though Preordain is sorcery speed. I don't play Opt in many decks. Like, it's from Invasion, right? The very first one. Yeah, that's where I started playing. I really like this artwork with, I think Hannah is on there. Yeah. Hannah, Ship's Navigator. Yeah, I don't know. It's similar to these 3 here. It just simply replaces itself and looks 1 deeper. There's the Opt artwork here, another one. Yeah, somewhere here, probably. Though I like actually the Divine Top a little bit better, since it can also scry deeper. It can save itself, it's a little bit better. Idol of Oblivion. Let's see. So this artifact I actually never played, since it's quite specific in which decks you should play it. So you draw a card, but only if you created a token this turn. So it's not even a mana rock, it just lies there if you don't create tokens. You can sack it for 8 and create a 10/10 Eldrazi, which is also quite expensive. When will you ever do that? Maybe if you're bored. So this goes into a very specific kind of deck. Other than that, it's not good. Like, if you don't create tokens, it's just simply bad, straight out of the gate. So you wouldn't put it in there. So very specific kind of decks. And then it's a good one. If you create tokens every turn, it's a good one. But since it's so specific, I would put it at C. If you have a specific deck that wants to play this, I would include it. So every turn, it's better than a Phyrexian Arena then, because it just straight out the gate draws your card when you tap it, if you created a token at the same turn. So probably around here, if you have a token deck. If you don't, then just simply don't play it, it's just dog water. That's why I put it in the middle. That's the reason. Welcome to everyone in between who joined. We are in the middle of our top 50 best card draws in EDH. If you have any opposing opinions, let me know, and I will fight you in the comments or, well, in my live stream. Now, Great Henge. Ooh, Great Henge. Great Henge is a card that is so strong. So normally in any green deck, this card costs 2 green. You can just see the 9 mana as 2 green because it costs 1 less for the greatest power among creatures that you have. Again, this kind of effect, yeah. And then it's a mana rock that just simply gives you the mana back and gives you 2 life, and that's not all. It's also a card drawer since whenever a creature enters, so you don't even have to have cast it, which is great. Also great in Reanimator decks then. Not only do you draw a card, you also put a +1/+1 counter on it. So if that isn't like massive power creep, I don't know. There is a reason why this is like a $50 card. If it was cheaper, I think I would still own one. I just traded them away because I'm focusing on Pauper and Vintage set cubes, and this was just too expensive to keep around for a card that will at some point have a Secret Lair card, Secret Lair version, and will be reprinted to any sets. You see, like Lord of the Rings. So this probably won't keep its price tag forever. I think when it came out, it was like a $20 card or $10 card. So yeah, it is very strong. And if you see it on the board, you normally have to remove it, right? So I think it's one of our strongest cards. Is it stronger than Rhystic Study though? If you don't have the creatures, no. You know, like if someone wiped the board and then you drew it, it sucks to have to pay 9 mana for this. But other than that, it's really good. I think I would keep it down there, like in the lower super staple tier. But normally it's amazing. So, next up, Night's Whisper. Again, another card, draw 2, lose 2 for 2. Solid card, similar to the Sign in Blood. Let's just put it there. Can't kill a player, so 1 step below the Sign in Blood, though it is only one black pip in the mana costs. Big score. So similar to the, what was the other red spell? Thrill of Possibility. Now you have to pay 4 mana and discard a card to draw 2 and create 2 treasures. So again, you lose 2, draw 2, create 2 treasures. It's better than Thrill of Possibility, though it costs 4 mana. It's at instant speed, good. If you copy it, great. Now we're talking, you know, like in a Calamax deck, we're allowed to copy instant cards and sorceries, I think, as well, right? I only play it as a instant tribal deck. No, only instants. Okay, so yeah, that's why I'm playing only instants in there. It's even better. So where would I put it? Above Thrill, obviously. Since it costs 4 mana, I would actually put it there. You don't get more cards, it's expensive, and it only is worth it if you actually copy it, in my opinion. So, there is that. Explore. We're nearing the end, by the way. Explore, the end of the top 50. You can play a additional land and draw cards. So, very similar to the Growth Spiral. It is at sorcery speed. It's worse. Like, with Growth Spiral, I'm only allowed to play the land now. So if I play Growth Spiral and then, for example, Brainstorm and draw another 3, and then there's a land, I'm not allowed to play an extra land. With Explore,